At the end of the topic, you will be able to describe the components of trade, list out the major exports and imports of India, explain India's international trade policy. Trade is a process of buying, selling, or exchanging goods and services. Growth of trade helps in improving the economic prosperity of a nation. Trade is divided into internal trade and external trade. Trade growth depends on well-developed market, advanced transport, and communication system. Trade. Trade is divided into internal trade and external trade. Internal trade is also known as local trade, which is carried out within the domestic territory of a country. Land transport plays major role in the internal trade. Local currency is involved in the local trade. International trade is also called as external trade, which is carried on between two or more countries. Ocean transport plays major role in the international trade. Foreign currency is involved in the international trade. International trade. International trade is further subdivided into bilateral trade and multilateral trade. Bilateral trade is a trade carried out between two countries based on the agreement deal of not using currency for payment. Instead, the needy goods can be bought from. Multilateral trade is carried out between many countries. In this trade, selling country gets revenue from buyer. APEC, Asian Pacific Economic Community, ASEAN, Associations of Southeast Asian Nations, and SAPTA, South African Preferential Trade Agreement, are the trade blocs created to make multilateral trade easier. Components of trade. The components of trade are export and import. Sales of goods and services for foreign currency is called export. 7,500 goods are exported to nearly 190 countries from India. Import means goods and services brought from overseas producers. India imports nearly 6,000 goods from 140 countries. Balance of trade is the difference between the values of export and import. Higher value of export than that of import is in country is called as favorable balance of trade. For instance, Japan. If the value of import is higher than the value of export in a country, then the country has unfavorable balance of trade. For instance, India. The value of currency of a country depends on the trade balance of that country. Major exports from India. Agriculture products like cereals, pulses, tea, coffee, spices, nuts and seeds, sugar and molasses, food, meat and meat products, ore and minerals including iron ore, coal, manganese, mica, bauxite, leather products such as wallets, purses, pouches, handbags, belts, footwear and gloves. Gems and jewelry including precious stones, gold jewelry, decorations and antiques. Chemicals and related products consisting of pharmaceuticals, cosmetics, rubber and glass. Engineering goods like machinery, iron and steel, electronic goods, computer software. Textiles and handicrafts include ready-made garments, cotton, yarn and zari goods. Major imports of India. The major import items of India include transport equipment, machine tools, non-electrical machineries, wheat, medicinal pharmaceutical products, petroleum, fertilizers and newsprint. India's import value is 2008 to 2009 was rupees 13 lakhs 5,530 million and the export value in the same year was rupees 7 lakhs 66,9350 million. India's international trade exhibits the growing prominence of Indian economy in the global market. Indian government has been following liberal trade policy since 2004 to promote international trade. In this topic, you have learnt growth of trade leads to economic prosperity of a nation. Trade is classified into internal trade and international trade. International trade further is divided into bilateral trade and multilateral trade. Balance of trade is when the export value is higher than import value of a country. Major exports from India include cereals, leather goods, gems and jewelry, ores and minerals, engineering goods and textiles. Imports of India include machinery tools, petroleum, fertilizers, pharmaceuticals and chemicals.